Hey YouTube, it's Cutt here. I'm so excited to bring you this new project. This is going to be the making of Sweet Tooth by Zāna. So in this video, we're going to break down the process of making this animation. Every single stage to get this thing done.
Meet you at a warehouse in town, dancing at a parties with me round and round, and underground music taking shots, neon lights cutting through the dark like
She brought me a project that I wasn't really planning on doing, but I was really excited to do once I knew what was going on. And her family, meeting them and meeting the team, it's just so exciting. They were great to work with, great ideas and concepts, and to come together to make a great project, very exciting. When it comes down to the music, at first I was like, all right, it takes me time. When I hear music, it takes me time to usually like feel it or love it, or I need to hear it more than once. But I heard it, I was like, okay, this is chill. I like this. It feels good. I like this. It's like a cool vibe, chilling vibe, but it has a little upbeat to it, which I really enjoy. So when she brought this project to my attention, I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do it. You know what? Let's do it. I knew it was gonna be tight because it was like a tight time to get it done, but I was excited to get it done. When it comes to the music, it's about getting it timed, right? Figuring out what is the meaning, what is the feeling behind the words that she wrote. So even though she wrote certain words, if I can't express it or can't bring it to fruition from what she's saying, then it's not gonna come across correctly. So it's all about taking the words that she had and figuring out a way to bring that creativity and make some piece of art with it. One thing that Zāna did that I love that many people do not do is she had everything ready. She had the script ready. She had references. She had an outline. She had an idea. She had all her styles and looks. She had a whole palette for me so that I can understand what her vision is. And then I had to make decisions on how can I bring that to life. Because sometimes you have an idea, but then it maybe has to be pulled all the way through. So I took that time to show this is the process and this is how to get it to where you want it to actually ultimately be. When I first get a script, what I love to do is actually take the time to make little notes, mental notes, so that I can see what do I want to do on this shot? What do I want to do on, at this line? And then that helps me later on when it's time to really bring it forward to recalculate all the things that I wrote and took the notes of to create something really cool. Once I get the script, the next thing is the storyboard. The storyboard is really important because this helps the customer or the client get an idea of what is gonna actually take place, because it's all words on paper until you can see some art. Now it's sketchy, okay? I mean, it's like chicken scratch, okay? But it's actually an idea on paper. So that allows them to see like, oh, I see, this is what it's gonna basically look like. And what I do is I take, obviously there's the sketch, but then I also take the information, in other words, the script or the lyrics, and then I also show what's taking place. So I write out, this is the character walking through the door, or this is the character sitting down. So they can get an idea, because if you just look at the sketch, chicken scratch, it's gonna be real hard to understand what's actually taking place. So this is why the words are so important. So it can explain a little bit more what's actually happening. After that's approved, then we go to the sketch phase. Now this phase is the phase that takes a while, okay? Because it's about thinking like, okay, does this angle work? Even though I wrote out that they can sit over here, but actually it doesn't really fit over there. So let's bring them over here. So it's a lot of calculating and a lot of decision making on what really works for the shot. What's really gonna go well here. Once I sketch it out, it's gonna be a little bit more detailed sketch. Not super detailed, but much, much more detailed than the chicken scratch we saw on the storyboard. This helps the client understand, oh, this is the look. This is where they're gonna be. This is what the characters are gonna look like. And then they can make a decision on if there needs to be any changes at that point in time. So now, when it comes to inking and coloring, it's probably the most exciting, but it is the most tedious part of the project. Because when it comes to animation, people think animation takes a long time, and it does. but it depends on what style of animation. Now, if you're doing frame by frame animation, it takes a long time, right? If you're doing motion graphics, it's not the animation that takes a long time, it's the preparing. Now, if you're using things like vectors or vector art where you don't have to create it and you're getting assets and things like that, it's a little bit different because then at that time, you can actually just place it however you want, prepare your layers, and then animate it. But if you're creating from scratch, that part takes a while. So even though the sketch is done, now I have to ink and color it, bring everything to life. So I first ink everything. Now what you don't want to do is complete every scene in order. Why? If you go from the beginning to the end, if you start from the beginning all the way to the end, completing everything, what happens is as you go forward, even if you're a good artist or a bad artist, as you go forward, you will start to progress. You'll start to get better no matter what, right? You'll start to go from kind of having an idea to understanding the characters completely by the end. The reason why that's a problem is because the audience, as they're watching, they can feel that. In the beginning, it's like, okay, and then the characters at the end have a completely different look. We don't want that. So the best thing to do is to jump around and create different parts of the scene. Don't start from beginning to end, but actually maybe get some shots from the middle, create those first. Then come back to the end shots and then go back to the beginning shots so that it can feel cohesive all the way through. There's a flip side to that, which is sometimes you start off really well and then you get bored or you get lazy going through because you want to complete it. So then the last shots are the weaker shots. So the goal is to try to stay consistent and keep it going all the way through the project. And when it comes to color, color is when everything comes to life. That's when everything is alive and it's fun. The easiest thing and the best thing to do is to have a color palette. Now in my case, Zāna already had a color idea. The only thing is her colors were a little bit more, strong, vibrant colors. It was like red, blue, yellow, green, heavy colors. And I understood because she wanted the candy and she wanted the, if they're in the club. But the thing is, candy is a little bit softer than that. So I wanted to bring the colors back to, soft pinks and light blues. And I did have some hot pinks and some purples, but I just wanted to dial it back just to soften the project a little bit. What I did to make it easier was, I already had an idea what type of colors I wanted to do. I took one background and completed it without thinking, without feeling too bogged down on the decision making. It was like, okay, I want to draw it like this. This is how I'm going to draw it. This is how the colors are going to be. And then after that, then I said, okay, these are the main colors that I can use throughout the whole film, throughout the whole video. So then I don't have to think too much on all the other backgrounds, what colors to use, because they were already picked for me. Now, I did consciously think for certain scenes to use certain colors. For instance, when the couple were together, I would use more pinks and purples. But when it was her and her girlfriend, it would be like the kind of yellow and pink. But then on the dance floor, I brought in a little bit of the teal. So I tried to keep that consistent going all the way through so that you can feel some difference. You have to prepare your layers. Even if you think, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm working by myself, you have to prepare layers. And what that means is not only making sure they're in the right slots of where you need them to be to animate, but also when it comes down to labeling, right? Actually, for yourself, it helps because you think you know something and then you go to the project and you don't know where anything is. So it helps you, but it also helps if you have to send it to the client, if you have to send it to another person in your team. So then when they open it up, because everything's labeled, it's easier to see. Actually, you can think about it like a closet or drawer. If you open up a closet and it's just a bunch of stuff and you say, go find, I don't know, a pencil, it's gonna be so hard to find that item. But if you open up the drawer, you open up the closet and there's little drawers that says, pencils, erasers, rulers, then it's much easier to find. Doesn't mean it's gonna be easy off the bat, but at least it's organized. Now, the animation stage, right? Animation is one of those things where it's like, okay, now let's bring this thing to life. Let's do this, right? So because all the layers are prepared, everything's drawn, everything's created, now it's just about animating it. Now, In this case, I had two forms of animation. I had frame by frame animation, and I also had motion graphics. Now the frame by frame animation actually started at a much earlier stage, more in the sketch phase. And I just had to decide, what do I need that's frame by frame, that's gonna show from beginning to the end, every single action, every single motion, so that it's a little bit more fluid. And then some things are motion graphics where I didn't really have to animate much, but more so moving it according to what's shown on the screen. And showing the, using After Effects to be able to actually calculate all that for me so that I don't have to do all the work. So just a little bit of both so that the whole video can come together as one. I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed the making of Zāna's Sweet Tooth video. If you want to watch the entire video without me, click the link in the description. That's the video, the full video. Also, if you want to check the remix by Asteknight, you can click here or also click in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button because there are going to be more videos related to this video. So check it out and look out for them. All right, I think that's it.
What are you doing? I know you're not about to leave without liking or sharing or something. I know you see that red button. You better subscribe to my channel. See you soon.
Had a take 5, quite like this before. Your touch gave me a